already.
Let's get into it. Today we're gonna have a really good topic. 3 items and 1 secret at the third items, which is definitely gonna help you to be a better rider. We're gonna try to find out if there is a way you can be a better rider by not putting too much effort into it. So we kind of see if there is any way we can cheat or not. We're gonna hit 3 topics. Still fighting with mosquitoes. That's kind of like, I guess, part of the channel. 3 topics, and we're gonna see bike setup or bike choices. We're gonna talk about rider skill and rider endurance fitness. Bike setup. Can you be a better rider if you buy the right bike? And on this topic, we are not going to talk about money. The money is not a problem, and we also not talk about pro level racing. We are talking about beginner or like medium riders who knows his way around the bike. KTM 250 or 300W XCW, which has a very linear power, kind of new thing, and what it does, it gives you a consistent traction all the way up, like a linear traction, and the power is not crazy like on the XC or on other bikes, but that gives you, when you're climbing up on a hill, you have a bike which is quite heavy, and you have yourself, and you know how much you weigh. I'm not getting into that. You're adding all this up, and you're climbing up on a hill, carrying all of this weight up, and it's gonna wear you out sooner or later, longer as the hill is, or more time you spend on climbing. If you wanna avoid that to happen, the way you can do that by having a bike which is not try to rip itself away from your hand, which is have a linear power, not too much power. If you have a bike like that, it still carry you up with a less effort, because you don't have as much hard time to hold yourself on the bike than if you are riding with, like, let's say just exaggeration like a crazy 450 power. If you go on that, the front wheel constantly gonna come up, and you always have to mess with the throttle. If you push the throttle too much away from you, like let the gas go, then you may stalling the bike. So it's quite a hassle. It's gonna wear you out. If you have a linear power, 2-stroke power, it definitely helps you to climb up the hill easier, which helps you to save more energy, so you can ride longer with your friends. I'm pretty sure that's pretty straightforward. Let's give you another example. If you have a 250 YZ and you're gonna use that bike to do the same thing, that's also gonna give you a hard time, because if the power valve opens, you're gonna have a super aggressive power coming up, which is gonna give you a hard time to control that power. It's talking about stock bike. We're not gonna talking about modified bike, like putting a flywheel on it. Even if you put 5 in on it, the 250 is still too aggressive for that. The 300 KTM definitely helps you with fatigue. Parts, suspension. So for the parts, you can have a parts which helps you with your arm pump, gives you less fatigue to your arm when you're climbing the hill, or you're braking or accelerating, or you're going through bumps, going through logs. You want to have a smooth feeling in your hand. You don't want to have a metal to metal contact, and the bike gonna transfer everything to the handlebar to your hand, and you have to absorb all of this energy. There is a system called 720 SBC, and that actually helps you to reduce all of these movement, no vibration, less fatigue, and then the movements are smoothed out, so you're not gonna have harsh hits to your arm, which also helps you to be a better rider, because your arm not going to get wear out as much to climbing the hill or braking or going fast or doing log jumping or whatever you do. So that's definitely help over there. Suspension. If you have a suspension setup, you don't even need a crazy suspension. The bikes nowadays has an excellent suspension. If you had that suspension set up properly, very important. That's really a key to set up the suspension properly. I rode in my entire life since, I don't know, like I was like 14 when I started to ride. I couldn't even ride. My father started up the bike. I went one way and I stalled the bike and I had to push it back. He started up for me and I did the same thing until I learned how to do that. Anyway, my last race, I set up the suspension pretty hard. I was trying to be a smartass, and I was thinking about I'm gonna going very, very fast anyway, because that's gonna be a fast-paced track with a lot of whoops, and then if the suspension is harder, then I can just go on top of it nice and neat. But I didn't think about I have to do that for 2.5 hours straight. What I ending up with, a shoulder injury. This has been almost 2 months and I still feel my left shoulder. I still cannot ride 100% because of that, constant arm ripping feeling. It was crazy. But my point is, if you don't have the suspension set up, I can tell you from first hand, it will cost you. You're not gonna be as good rider as if you have the suspension set up properly. Engine, aftermarket parts, suspension. These things. And then I think the tire. I think that's pretty obvious. That can help you if you have a proper tire setup. That can help you to be a better rider as well. You really have to choose according to your riding conditions. Sand, soft, gummy tire, whatever you ride. You just have to make sure you have the proper tire. So I think the first topic, it definitely can help you to be a better rider. These mosquitoes are killing me. All right, number 2 is the riding skill. What I do, every time when I come out riding, I'm kind of lucky enough, let's just put it this way, I can say that properly, lucky enough to have this place around my house. So when I ride out, I always practicing, and on the way home, I do the same thing. Practicing balancing, practicing wheelies, whatever I want to be better. And then I ride on the meantime. And I do that every single time. If you can afford to ride 3 times a week, I'm pretty sure you feel a benefit of that, because you are constantly improving, and the improvement is quite significant. If you are riding over the weekend, that's when kind of falling behind a little bit, because you actually have, at the first few minutes, you actually have to get used to the bike again before you actually start riding, because you haven't rode for a week. And what I can tell you, if you can ride for once a week, then spend more time on the bike. If you find something for yourself, what helps you to ride for a longer time than what you normally would, that makes you a better rider, no question about that. When I do this 2.5 hour race and I feel like I'm with the bike, literally, I don't even know how to describe that feeling. It's like nothing else on the planet. Like the bike is my extension. That's how I feel every single time after I finished a race. It's just an awesome feeling. I really feel like I can accomplish a lot of stuff with that bike, just because it gives me that much confidence after I get used to the bike that much. Let's say you normally ride 1 hour, then make it 2 hours, and then you're gonna be a better rider by doing that. And also, before you start your riding, you can spend a few minutes of practicing whatever you feel like you need to practice with. I recommend nowadays, I think the most important thing is to be able to balance yourself on the bike. But I also think that's the hardest thing. What I did to learn my balancing skill, I kind of spent one winter in my garage next to my shelf. I put my bike next to my shelf, and I was standing up on the bike because, you know, one thing to learn how to step from the ground to the bike, and the next thing is to learn how to balance yourself when you are on the bike. So I was decided to learn how to balance myself when I'm on the bike. And then I hold the shelf and I always let it go. And then, you know, eventually it came to me. But it was hard, and it took me a long time. So it's not easy, definitely not easy. And then plus, this is only gives you to be able to balance yourself when you are on the bike, and it not only gives you anything to how to get on the bike and balance yourself. When I started to doing wheelies, it took me like 2 weeks. Took me like 2 weeks to learn how to do the wheelies, because I know how to balance myself. If I do otherwise, if I don't know how to balance myself, it probably be much longer. I cannot tell you how long, because this is how I just learned. But because I learned how to balance, then it took me only 2 weeks to do these wheelies, like the fast speed wheelies, properly nice, you know, spread out wheelies. And I was surprised, genuinely surprised by that, how, you know, how fast I was able to get it going. The way I started the wheelies, this is a little sidetrack. The way I started doing the wheelies, I went on the side of the hill. We have a little ditch over here, and then I went up on the side and without clutch, and that's actually get me the right position to be able to have the front wheel all the way up, and I just went up on the side of the hill. It was really easy for me to learn it that way. So if you learn a skill of balancing yourself, this definitely can help you with the riding, and you can do that at home. You know, when you are finishing your work, you can learn how to balance yourself on the bike. Even if you sit or spending more time with your bike in the garage, that helps you to be a better rider, because you're getting used to your bike. You kind of feel the way you around your bike, you know, the foot pegs, the handlebar, the grip, the brakes. It just helps you with it, for sure. So we're still not putting too much effort in it. We still try to do a minimum, like 1 week, riding once a week, and we're practicing at the garage by not riding, but we are still practicing. That's kind of like a little cheating, but if you want to be a better rider, you know, you have to do a little bit more, otherwise it just doesn't work. You know, you have to put a little more effort into it, and I think that's kind of achievable. You know, even if you like to have a beer after your day, you can have your beer on the shelf and you're practicing your riding, you know, the balancing, and then you can have the best of the both worlds, and then, you know, that's a win-win for you 100%. So I think number 2 is definitely the one which is really important, and it can help you to be a better rider if you're achieving these goals, you know, like what we just talked about. Let's hit the most important one, is number 3. If you are very beginner at your riding, but if you have an excellent fitness, you can ride with your friends all day, because I'm pretty sure there is a time when they are falling down with endurance and you are not, because you're just in a better condition, and that's really important. So if you want to have an excellent day and you have an excellent linear day with your riding, the fitness comes first. How you can achieve that by not putting too much effort in it, that is a little cheating. I was around back in the days, a lot of pro racers. I watched how they are doing the schedule for as eating, for as you know, anything else goes into it to be the top on the leaderboard. And to me, it was surprised none of them really took the water seriously, and none of them really took the magnesium seriously. Water. You want to have enough water in your body so your muscles are constantly loose and not tight. As soon as your muscles are getting tight, then you have arm pump, your muscles starting to get cramped. Makes sense, right? So all you need to do is have enough water to keep your muscles loose, right? Right. Number 2, what can help you with the magnesium in the water. I'm gonna put a little picture at what I am using. I take 200 milligram magnesium when I'm going out riding. Not when I'm over here. I'm kind of pretty good when I'm over here in my truck, but when I'm going up to the mountains, I always do that because that's kind of like unfamiliar territory for me. 200 milligram magnesium. What that does, it also keep your muscles loose and helps you to have the water in your muscles. So that's the cheating part. If you take that, it definitely helps you to ride your 2.5 hours or 3 hours with your friends out on the trail without having those muscle cramps, your lower arm being very tight. What I do, I have a little bag with the water, magnesium mixed into it, and I just constantly fill myself up. Even if I'm not thirsty, every time I stop, I just drink a little bit, to keep my body up a little bit higher than normal as far as water goes. And that's definitely helps you with your riding. And what you did for that, for as practicing or for as anything with the bike, nothing, So I think that's something what everybody should consider to do it, to be a better rider. That's something what's really good. And the other thing is what's really good when you be able to handle your bike weight. And what that comes down to is fitness. That's push-ups, easiest things to do. I have weights at home and there is a fitness center close to us. Sometimes I go there, visit that, but lately I'm not really doing that, especially because of my shoulders. But when I'm on the bike, I want to feel like I'm the bull and not the bike is. So I can outperform the bike. So I want to have that feeling I'm stronger than the bike. When I'm holding myself on it, I want to feel that I'm controlling the bike and not the bike power controlling me. And only way you can achieve that if you're strong enough to do that. And that gives you that confidence to be able to feel like that. So 25 push-ups every morning. That's what I do before I go work. 25 push-ups every morning. And if I can, I do a little fitness in the afternoon, and I ride my bike probably like 25 minutes. I ride my bike in the morning, boom, 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 with my legs, so to have my legs in the right place. My legs is still my weakest point, but my upper body is really good, well rounded. So I feel like I'm handling the bike and not the bike handling me because of that fitness. So if you want to be a better rider, if you want to be able to ride longer, that's what it comes down to. Because if you have a better fitness, then you'll be able to hold yourself on the bike longer. And also the grip seats can help you with that. Or the seat cover. But that's just a joke. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I was really just I thought I'm gonna put something together for you, which is try to help you to be a better rider. And this is kind of like mainly my experience, be around these pro level guys and riding in my entire life. Hopefully that helps you in any way, and if you do, then leave me a comment and put your thoughts in there, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.